I'm Lizzie Harrison for Card Player TV, here today with Mike Sexton with our Legends of Poker final table update. Mike, thank you so much for coming by.
Well, it's always my pleasure.
We have a really good final table today. A lot of big name pros, a lot of young internet players. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, that's what impresses me so much is the young guys here. We got 5 guys at this final table who have never been at a WPT final table before.
Right.
And then, of course, we've got John the Razor Pham, who's on more fire than anybody in the poker world these days. I mean, out of the last 6 WPT events, this is his 3rd WPT final table.
Right.
In between those, he won 2 World Series of Poker bracelets. The guy is on a heater.
He's been running very well in this tournament. He took out Lane Flack when his 7s turned into quads against Lane's pocket aces. I mean, things are going John Phan's way.
Yeah, incredibly. Lane lost with 2 aces again. When he finished runner-up at Foxwoods a couple of years ago, Lane was playing Howard Lederer. He had pocket aces. Howard had the king-jack, made kings and jacks to beat him. And here it happened to Lane one more time at the final table here.
That's what happens.
He doesn't do too good with 2 aces.
No. All right, so the chip leader going into the final table is Amit Makija. He has over $3 million in chips. He's from Brooklyn, New York. What do you know about him?
Well, I know about him because in the $10,000 pot limit the pot limit Hold'em tournament at the World Series of Poker this year, I happened to be at the final table with them. So we played together from a couple tables down. You know, very quiet guy, conservative guy, solid player. I would say he had a reputation prior to that final table at the World Series that I played with him on of being the tightest guy that was left in the tournament. So he played pretty solid, and he actually ended up going out 5th. I ended up going out 4th, but I played several hours longer than he did. So the first 4 guys went out fast. You know, the rest of us took quite a while before we got out. But anyway, you know, he's a very solid player. You know, not going to be easy to get out of there.
All right, well, we'll see if he can take a first-place finish here tonight. So who do you think will be your toughest opponent tomorrow?
John Phan has position on me, and he's a really sick player, and he's got a ton of chips too.
And he's been running well.
And he's been running well, so he's obviously dangerous, but everyone's pretty good at this final table. I think everyone is capable of a lot at this final table. Kyle's very good. I'm good friends with Zach. He's very good, and it's going to be tough. It's anyone's game, really.
Second in chips at the final table is John Phan. He's starting off with $2.4 million, and by just making this final table, he surpassed Eric Seidel. He's now 1st in the Card Player of the Year race.
Well, he should be. Out of the last 6 WPT events, he's made 3 final tables. In between that, he won 2 World Series of Poker bracelets. So, in my mind, he is the king bee right now. He is on a heater, on fire. Took 2 7s to knock out Lane Flack's 2 aces when he made 4 7s. So that shows me could be destiny one more time for the Razor here tonight.
Do you think that his experience will pay off?
I really do. None of these other 5 guys have been at a WPT final table. You know, he's making his 3rd appearance now. He's very comfortable at the WPT final table settings. I do think it's going to be a good edge for him.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
I'm going to cross my finger. I don't want to say anything until after I really prove myself. So I don't know. I mean, anything can go anyway. I've been there, done that.
Right.
I can catch so many big hands. Like, I would say at least 8 times pocket aces, like 5 pocket king, like 4 times 5 times pocket queen, ace king, like half a dozen. I'm running hard, I'm playing good.
Zach Clark is starting the final table 3rd in chips with just over $2 million. Now, he recently dropped out of college, but he must be pretty happy about it. He cashed 4 times this summer at the World Series of Poker.
Well, he did, and he's got the poker genes. His uncle was Chip Reese, the Hall of Fame poker player. Right. So, you know, Chip was working. I know Chip was working with him quite a bit, you know, as a youngster, because the kid had a real passion for poker. Chip was helping him out, and I'm sure he'd be very proud today to see him at this final table. Going to be interesting to see how Zach performs.
Yeah, I'm sure Zach has knowledge beyond his years. He told me, not even the poker advice that Chip gave him, but just the life advice really carries over.
Well, Chip was probably, in terms of understanding the values of life and appreciating family and whatnot, far more than the average poker player, no question about it. And he was in a class of his own there, and certainly Zach could follow in his footsteps. That'd be pretty cool, actually.
It would.
Well, my mom grew up with Chip. She was his brother.
Chip was your uncle?
Yeah, so it was, you know, sort of in the family. I've never had a job. I've been, you know, betting sports since I was in 3rd grade, so I've sort of always.
So did Chip ever teach you anything about poker?
Yeah, and more about like PLO and other games, not so much about no limit tournaments, but he taught me a lot about just how to keep your money once you have it. A lot of stuff is way more valuable than learning the actual poker.
Right. Kyle Wilson is going to start the final table 4th in chips. He is just under $1.5 million. Now, he's friends with a lot of the Canadian poker players. He's really good friends with Greg Mueller, Sean Buchanan, the WPT champion. I think they helped him get ready for this final table.
Yeah, another tough young Canadian poker player, no question about it.
Crossing the border.
Well, but I would say Kyle probably needs to win more than anybody else. The guy's 25 years old. He's got 4 kids.
Does he really?
Yes.
Wow.
So no.
I didn't know that fact about Kyle.
So that'll put a little extra pressure on him, but you know, he's got that good Canadian poker blood, and we've seen a lot of that lately out here in the World Poker Tour, so it's going to be fun watching him. He's
been playing very solidly all week. I've watched him make some really good decisions. Let's hope that carries over to the final table.
Yeah, all these guys that are at the final table have made good decisions to get here, no doubt about it.
Well, this is a super tough final table.
There's no soft spot.
Yeah, even with 9 left, it's just been hard the whole way. And I mean, I don't know who's gonna be the toughest. All of them are very good. I guess whoever has the most chips will be the toughest to me right now. So I don't know. All these internet tournament players are really good, and then John Fan's a great live player, and it's tough. I don't know.
Paul Smith is entering the final table 5th in chips. He's got about 1.3 million. Now, previous to this, he came in 18th at the LAPC this past year.
He seems like a super nice guy, obviously very intelligent, went to UCLA Law School. So, you know, Chris Ferguson's got a PhD from UCLA, so we got poker genes over there in UCLA. Here we are in Los Angeles at the Bicycle Casino for this final table, but certainly doing very well so far, so who knows?
Yeah, and people who do very well in other professions often seem to be able to figure out what's going on in the poker table.
Well, it amazes me. He's only been playing poker for a year.
Really?
Yet he's had tremendous success so far. So obviously the guy has a very good knack for the game. It'll be fun to watch him at this final table as well. But at 38, he's the oldest guy at this table by far.
Absolutely.
The lineup is as tough as I can imagine it being. I mean, we have John Fan, who is just killing poker this year. And playing with him all day today, I can really see why. You know, some young internet superstars. It's tough. It was a tough day of poker. The last couple tables were unbelievable. No soft spots, or you know, maybe 1 or 2 here or there. But it was tough, and it's going to be tough tomorrow.
The short stack going into the final table is Mikey Nguyen. He has less than $1 million in chips, but he's a local player. Everybody here seems to be on his side. What do you think? You know much about him?
I really don't know much about him. I know he's the youngest player at this table with 23 years of age. First big-time final table for him. So, you know, he's starting out on the short stack, but still got almost $1 million in chips, which is plenty to play with, as we know. But, you know, it'll be interesting to see how he adapts to the pressure of a final table. When you're there for the first time under the bright lights.
Intense, the audience.
Very much pressure, very intense. Usually everybody plays very conservative early on at the final table. Nobody wants to go out first. And, of course, 5 of these guys out of the 6 have never been at a WPT final table before. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're all pretty conservative to start with, or somebody's going to take the bull by the horns and run with it.
Right. Well, Mikey has a lot of experience here at the bike. His biggest cash before this was $35,000. He got that in Moe's Deep Stack tournament, the main event. So he must have a soft spot for this casino.
Well, let's see if the home court plays well for Mikey tonight.
I play high limits, so 10-20, 10-20, and a 20-40.
So what prompted you to enter this tournament if you're a cash game guy?
Let's just say I woke up one day and I found myself here. I was like, okay, 10,000, okay.
And how did the entire tournament go for you? Was it basically smooth sailing?
It was
there any controversy?
No, it was like a human roller coaster. I went up and down, up and down. It was just, I was chip lead at one point, and I went down. I went all the way down to like my last 100, went back up.
So it's going to be an exciting final table starting at 4 o'clock today. Who do you think is going to come out as the champion?
Well, I think one of the 2 chip leaders, you have to give the nod to them. Mitt got experience at final tables. You know, he's the big chip leader, but hard not to like John Razor Pham as the heater he's been on all season long. And I look for him to capture his first WPT title tonight. I'm going with the Razor.
I would have to agree. Combined with his playing style and the run that he's on, I don't see how John doesn't walk out of here with a WPT title.
It's not easy.
Well, thank you very much for coming by today, Mike. We really appreciated it. And I'll see you again soon.
Well, my pleasure. Always happy to join you all.
I'm Lizzie Harrison with Mike Sexton for Card Player TV.